Happy holidays, Cine-Files, and welcome to what I think is the funniest holiday episode we've ever produced on National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation.
Absolutely, Steve. This is one where the reindeer are off the reins, shall we say? And it's absolutely a crazy episode. And I remember this is one of our legendary episodes, and we're doing some new intros for each one of these re-releases as a thank you to all of you Cine-Files fans for supporting us for another year. We hope you've been enjoying it. Of course, shout out to our advisory board as well, who's been incredible. Gifts under our tree, they've been early Christmas gifts for sure. But thanks to all of you who've supported us, either by listening to us or being part of the Patreon. And we can't thank you enough.
And if you think that this is the year that you will find out what is behind the bleep at the very beginning of the episode from our special guest, Michael Ross, guess what? You won't. You're never going to find out. That's going to be our secret forever.
Absolutely. So open your jar of jelly for the month and enjoy Christmas Vacation from the Cine-Files.
Nobody's walking out on this fun, old-fashioned family Christmas. No, we're all in this together. This is a full-blown four-alarm holiday emergency here. We're going to press on, and we're going to have the happiest Christmas since Bing Crosby tap danced with Danny fucking Kaye.
Hello and welcome once again to the Cine-Files, where we have survived stomach viruses, sick kids, difficult travel plans, stressful holiday parties, New Year's Eve,
and
oh my God. Nobody survived.
Jesus.
What is wrong with you?
The show has been instantly derailed. My name is Steve Forrest. I'm a filmmaker and directing instructor in Los Angeles, California.
Hello, everyone. My name is John Roca. I'm a former writer and producer and host over at Collider. I was let go on the day that we're recording this from that
Merry
Christmas from that wonderful channel. Absolutely. But I am a writer, producer, and host on numerous other podcasts. And look for Outlaw Nation. If it hasn't already dropped by the time we release this thing, I'm bringing that back as well.
All right. Long live Outlaw Nation. And we are very, very happy to welcome back animation executive and one of our dear friends, and I will say the person in my life closest to a real-life Clark Griswald, Michael Ross. Welcome to the Cine-Files.
thank you for having me back. I don't know why you did. I went back and re-listened to my first episode. I have nothing to add to this show, and I apologize ahead of time.
I don't think that's true at all.
John, all due respect, and I'm going to say that a lot today, and I don't mean it. When somebody says that, I've been saying it a lot.
All due
there's no respect.
As soon as they say it, everything they say afterwards
Nobody
is bullshit.
says, all due respect, you're really great.
Yeah.
It doesn't happen.
That's it.
That's true.
Well, and let me just take like 10 minutes at the beginning of this to just talk about a few things.
Okay.
You know the show that I edit the show, right?
Yeah.
Okay. 10 minutes, go.
Yeah, we'll just cut out now. So I think I recommended this show when you guys were first developing this. I recommended this movie, and Steve was like, they were like doing real movies.
Wow.
Was
And
that
yeah.
Was that my tone?
Well, now because you guys have like 375 episodes, which I have not listened to all of them, you've run out of things to talk about.
Right. Somehow there's only 375 movies in the history of mankind.
Wait, have we done 375 movies?
I don't know.
Well,
We've got a lot.
there's also the little trailers you do. They're teasing the next week's
previews,
episode,
yeah.
Sure.
which you cannot skip through. Which takes me into the next thing. There's two. I've listened to most of the episodes.
Oh, most?
We've got to talk about the Halloween episodes.
Oh boy.
Okay.
Here we go.
You know
Guys,
this is our Christmas episode,
I know,
right?
but
Do you mean the Halloween movie episodes or the Halloween episodes?
There's a Halloween one you did.
Yes.
And then you did Nightmare on Elm Street.
Yes, we did.
Correct. We also did The Shining.
And we did the
It's not a horror movie.
Okay.
Oof. All right, go ahead.
Comment below, like, and subscribe. Whether you think that's a horror movie, it isn't. It's a comedy. It's true. And there's a
Go
sequel
ahead.
where they talk about that too. So listen, the horror movies, you guys are both like, with both movies, you're like, I don't even like horror movies. And then you're like, and I don't even like this movie. And then you talk about other stuff for 40 minutes and you don't even talk about the movie.
I don't think he's listened to the show.
Yeah, we always talk about the movie.
Okay.
Well, listen, I understand. We did talk about Nightmare on Elm Street. We did have an issue that we both don't think it holds up, but we gave that film its due in the conversation and the time we spent on it. Do you feel that we didn't?
All due respect.
Oh boy. Here.
Oh, wait, here this is. Yeah, we know what this
I
is.
think you're talented. Let's start the show.
So, in case you hadn't looked at the title or listened to the trailer, which according to Mike, you
I'm stalling
cannot-
because I don't have anything
you
to talk
cannot
about. This
skip.
movie.
The movie we are talking about is National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation, the sequel to National Lampoon's Vacation, which we are not talking about.
Right.
We might maybe someday,
Not tonight.
not tonight. And my question, as always, is John Roca, how did you first come to National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation?
Michael Ross. Michael Ross insisted on watching this movie. There's something we do, all our group of friends, and people may not know this or may have heard us refer to it every once in a while. Something called Faux Christmas has been a tradition in our group of friends for 20 years, over 20 years. And one of those traditions on Faux Christmas is when we all get together before everybody gets out of town. We give each other presents or mix CDs or whatever the gift du jour is that year. But we all get together, make food, and then watch Christmas movies. I had avoided Christmas Vacation because European Vacation sucks so much balls that I had no interest in seeing another sequel to a vacation movie, which I love the original Vacation like crazy. So I did not want to see this movie, but Mike Ross insisted that it had to be part of our rundown for that day of Christmas movies. I stayed that day at Michael Vogel's apartment, and I watched that movie, and I could not believe how much I enjoyed the film.
I got you in my Clockwork Orange seat with your eyes pried open. I'll never forget that year.
Yep.
And you loved it.
I did.
Just pried his eyes. You didn't like European Vacation?
I just really didn't like everything Eric Idle does. Very funny. Everything else, waste of my time.
Okay.
Okay. Well,
You heard it here first.
Right.
And for you, sir.
I don't remember.
Really?
But now
You
it's
knew this was a question I was going to ask you.
I told you I was not prepared for tonight. I was just going to talk. I was going to critique this.
That was
this
your only
show
bit.
And Geek Buddies, and that was it.
show to critique.
And plug this great website I use to make my podcast, which we'll talk about later.
Oh, good.
No, it's one of those movies where I feel like I've watched it every year since I was 3, and I know that's not the case. But I do not remember the first time I saw it.
I have a question for you, and then I'll answer my own question, of course. But because we play it every year at Faux Christmas.
Yeah.
Do you actually watch it every year?
Oh, I will watch it at least 2 more times outside of Faux Christmas as well.
Wow.
Because for me, for the last 15 years or whatever, I walk in and out of the room and like, oh, it's this scene. This is funny. And then I walk out of the room and then I have some more like unhealthy food.
Well, it's been a problem over the last few years since we've been having more kids come into this group. That's the end of the statement. It's just a problem that we've been having kids come into this group. Because you're trying to shield them from some of the things because there's a definite there is no Santa in this movie, so we have to be careful with that with our 3-year-old.
Right.
There's a lot of language, which is fine. It goes over their heads.
Jax loves it's a favorite part.
Of course.
Yeah.
Language violence.
Way more distractions now.
Yeah.
People less sitting down and watching it. Yes. So that's why this year Marissa got me a special screening downtown with a Q&A, which we'll come back to later, with Chevy Chase. So I got to see it in a theater.
Wait, Chevy Chase was at the Q&A?
Oh, yeah.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. We'll talk about that. But we were in a big theater with people that have all seen it. And it was one of the best viewings I've ever had.
That's
movie.
always awesome. Yeah. When you get to see particularly that kind of movie that doesn't normally get the fancy screening and you get to go see it with a lot of fans. That's
Absolutely.
awesome.
Yeah. This woman in front of me, probably 72 years old.
Oh.
Dum, 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 dum. Music starts. She's going like this. And laughed until the end of the movie. I knocked on her shoulder afterwards. I was like, you made my whole experience. She goes, I'm sorry, we play this every year for my family. Everything that happened in this movie happens in my family. I was like, yeah, that's it. This is why Jesus was born, is for this movie in Christmas time.
So do you remember when just a few minutes ago when I was a little disparaging towards you because you didn't remember where you first saw the film?
Correct. Do you remember?
I don't remember where I first saw the film. I know.
So we'll start the show here, right?
Yeah.
At this point, everything
and hit record.
Welcome to the Cine-Files.
I saw it on videotape at some point. I didn't see it in the theater. I saw it. I went, It's funny.
Right.
And then my most experience is watching, as I said, one scene before I walk out and have another drink or do another thing, and then I come in and watch another scene. I hadn't actually sat down and focused on watching it until a couple of weeks ago. Where I really, I had watched it a long time ago, and then I watched little bits. There wasn't parts that I didn't remember, but I had not watched it sequentially in a long time.
So did you finally understand what it was about?
I know we're going to talk about this because it actually, I saw so much more of my own holiday experience since becoming a parent and watching it. Before it was all just some ridiculous slapstick and embarrassment comedy and good. And I think Chevy Chase is a really funny person in this era. Yeah. But I didn't think of I relate to Clark Griswald
100%
until now.
This was the first time after probably seeing it way too many times. I think it was Killer Clowns from Outer Space is the movie I've seen the most, then this.
More than Tiptoes?
Oh, Tiptoes.
Yeah.
Yeah, Tiptoes was a lot of starts and stops.
Okay.
A lot of starts and stops.
You two can do your own. You can do a podcast on Tiptoes without me.
All right, let's take a break and go do that real quick.
I've got extra time now.
I will not be
doing
involved.
spin-offs. I'm getting better at this thing too.
I think you are.
Holding the mic and all this stuff. So seeing it this time, this was the first time that I realized this was his first Christmas he was hosting at his house.
Yes.
Right. Yes.
He hasn't done this before. I've never caught that before.
Wow.
And that it added so much more angst and he reminds me of Larry David in
Sure.
Curb.
Yeah, totally.
To a T. Everything he does is completely justified in this movie for me.
Well, what's so interesting, which we'll get into, is Larry David and Curb is a good example because there are many moments where you're like, you're not a good person.
Correct.
And yet you were with him.
100%.
Yeah. And so, by the way, I believe, and it's getting harder for me to track all this now, but I believe this is our first Chevy Chase film. I don't think we've done anything that he's been in.
Yeah, we haven't done Fletch.
We haven't done Fletch. We haven't done Spies Like Us.
To be fair, there's not a lot of good Chevy Chase films.
But we haven't done one where he shows up.
Isn't that true?
No,
it's hard.
All due respect, there's not a lot of good Chevy Chase films.
No, yeah, all due respect. I would like to give a very small bio on him.
Yeah, please.
Which is I did not realize how wealthy and influential the family he came from was.
Yes,
and I didn't know what his real first name is.
Which is
Cornelius.
Cornelius Chase.
Cornelius Chase.
Love it.
So we might be coming back in a strange way because I literally cannot remember what we were talking about.
We're talking about Cornelius.
Cornelius. That's what my wife came in. We had to move a car. There was a whole thing.
Dude, we had a whole scene. She hit me
with the car or
with the
just
car.
Physically?
You probably
she was trying to
deserved
push my car out of the way.
So Chevy Chase.
Yeah.
I'm gonna kind of skip ahead. Spoiler alert, he did not go to medical school. That's part of my notes in here.
Oh.
And he did some underground comedy, became a writer on the Smothers Brothers show. And of course, the big thing for him was writing for the National Lampoon Radio Hour, where he met John Belushi, Gilda Radner, Brian Doyle Murray, and Bill Murray. And of course, that led to him being the breakout star in the first year of Saturday Night Live.
Yeah.
And as what I didn't know is they were talking about him as the next Johnny Carson.
Yes.
There was big talk of this is the guy that's going to replace Johnny on the Tonight Show. And he went, nope. And he left Saturday Night Live and went off to make movies. Was supposed to be Otter in Animal House. Instead, that's played by Tim Matheson, and he goes to make Foul Play, which when I saw it as a kid, I saw it in the theater. I thought that was the funniest movie I'd ever seen.
Goldie Hawn and Chevy Chase did 2 movies together, Foul Play.
Is it good?
And Seems Like Old Times.
And Seems Like Old Times. They're both very funny for their time.
My guess is Foul Play. I haven't seen it in a long time.
Yeah.
My guess is really dated.
Yes.
Yeah.
What are you guys doing tonight?
We're doing a podcast.
After this, let's watch a movie, and then we could do we'll do a follow up.
We should do a commentary
quick
track
15
on Foul Play.
Oh my!
That seems like a moneymaker.
Ever.
Totally.
Goes on to do Caddyshack, which he didn't want to do.
That movie does not hold up. That movie's not funny, and I'll fight my wife and anybody else that says otherwise.
All due respect, you're an insane person. It absolutely holds up.
Well,
I think the things
you did say all due respect.
Yeah.
So
I think the things that are funny are still funny.
Yes.
And I think they're vast. What's weird? The weird thing about this is not the Caddyshack podcast. What is weird about that movie is that movie was clearly intended to be a story about the caddy,
Yes.
and that that is totally not interesting.
It's a movie about a
And
gopher.
it's Rodney Dangerfield, Chevy Chase, Bill Murray, and the Gopher. That is, and Ted Knight.
If you can edit out every single relationship scene between
Yeah.
him and the randomly Irish girl
Yeah.
there, you have a way better movie.
Yes.
That's great. Let's re-edit it.
Yeah.
We got a lot of, so we're doing a Foul Play
my God,
podcast.
so
We're going to be doing re-editing Caddyshack. Fletch is my favorite Chevy Chase movie.
Yeah.
Fletch is so damn funny.
Fletch lives.
No,
No.
not so much, but still enjoyable. Just not as good. Matt Nost is that's his number one movie is Fletch, number one above everything else.
And that is why the top 10 show is not the Cine-Files. That's just put it that way. I love the top 10 show. It's a fine show. Everyone listening to the Cine-Files right now should immediately download every episode. Make sure to listen to the ads. But yes, I love Fletch.
Me too. I enjoy.
I love Fletch.
Can I ask you guys something? Since you know a lot about film,
Normally we ask the questions on the podcast.
can I ask it as a statement?
Sure.
So during this Q&A that we went to, which was the most depressing thing ever, which we'll come back to. I know, in all due respect, it was terrible. Do you see Chevy Chase in Saturday Night Live and the movies he's done as a co-creator of the film, or an actor that gave a lot to those roles and to the shows he did, for what you know of film?
Here's what I will say. So a bit of pre-production I'll say is this comes from John Hughes, and these were there were two stories that he wrote for the National Lampoon, I think in 1979 and 1980, and this one is based on one called Christmas '59, and so he's the creator. But almost everyone I heard talk about this movie, and maybe you probably know about all this too, said, "Oh, Chevy told me to do that." All the actors, like Russ, the kid, Chevy was acting all his parts for Russ and telling him how to do them.
Do you think that is true of all the roles that he's done? Because here's why I'm asking.
Okay.
During the Q&A, everything he brought up, from Saturday Night Live to any film he did, he said, when I created this movie,
Yeah.
when I picked the thing, when I was creating Saturday, so it was just interesting sitting in the audience. Like, I know he gives a lot. I know the performance is his 100%, but he had a certain ownership over them that was odd, that I hadn't seen in another performer before.
Yeah.
I will say that I believe that it has been well documented, and that I am not speaking based entirely on hearsay and rumors, although all I am speaking on is hearsay and rumors.
But I believe you.
That Chevy Chase is not a nice person.
Yes. Well, I mean, listen to that voicemail he left. What's his face from Community, Dan Harmon. That'll let you know exactly how much of a person
He from
Chevy
Saturday
Chase
Night
is.
Live, all the stories about him being mean and nasty and abusive, particularly to the women on Saturday Night Live, and being controlling and difficult.
Right.
I'll go on and on. And
There's a
on.
great Vanity Fair article. I've always wanted to say that. I don't even know if it was Vanity Fair, but I think it was an interview with him a number of years ago that asks him about that. Because he's got three daughters that are grown, a white, the dickheadedness, it's all part of an act. Do you know what I mean?
Possible.
That he can't help himself.
Can't help yourself and all part of an act are not the same thing.
Well, yeah, fair.
Because all part of an
All
act,
due respect, I think it is.
all part of an act means I don't really mean it. Can't help yourself means I can't stop doing it.
Right. Well, also, it's all subjective, isn't it? It's all subjective in how we approach things. Because Orson Welles has a same litany of complaints from female actors and members of his troupe who've said how terrible he's been to them. Brando has a list of people who've also said how terrible it was to work with his arrogant ass. It can just be that there are people who exist in the world who see things like in The Matrix. They're so aware of everything that they cannot relate to human beings in the same way because they see themselves as geniuses and they think other people are just below them inherently. And I don't know if that's true of Chevy. Maybe he has a sociopathic nature to himself that comes through in those moments.
I don't know, but what I will say, not in defense of assholishness, but in just admiration for the guy, is when he is good, I think he does more with less than any comedian I
Oh
can
my
think
God.
of. Like I remember there's something where he's like a minister in an old Saturday Night Live episode where he keeps misspeaking.
Yeah.
And there's just like little lip moves and there's like that are so funny.
It's so real.
And I don't know what is. And in this movie, I mean, just watch his face.
Yeah.
Every reaction and flick of the eye and everything. He is so damn funny.
Well, as many times as I've seen the movie, and even when people do his lines, and this sounds stupid, but like, it is impossible to reenact it. People try reenacting, even the moment with the handkerchief where he's talking to the woman, like the miscommunication that he's doing. Even when people try to repeat it, you can't. It's like, I don't know. It's like Shakespeare to me. I think it's so brilliant. Like you can do little one-liners, but I don't think you can do a full scene the way he does it.
Yeah.
No.
When he's brilliant.
He's great.
I think the hidden truth with him, and especially in all the work he does, is he brings an actual connectable vulnerability to these characters, which I think wouldn't be possible if he didn't have that gear in him.
Sure.
There is a sweetness to Clark. As selfish or as stupid as he is sometimes, Clark does love his family in his own way and has these visions for what he wants his family to be. And I think that's true of Fletch. I think that's true of a number of characters that Chevy Chase has played, including Caddyshack. I think he has a genuine affection for that kid he is trying to mentor to win the Caddy Championship. He has a genuine affection for him.
I think to me,
but he's got those asshole natures.
the difference between the Fletch character and the Caddyshack character with this is that those characters are always a little above everything. Like Fletch is always at a faster speed than anybody else he's with.
He's the smartest person in the room every time.
And he's because he's continually making these jokes that nobody understands.
Right.
And the guy in Caddyshack is also at another level, whereas Clark. He is behind all the time.
Yeah, true.
He's
true.
He is not because and this is an interesting thing is that
You think he's behind?
I think he is always trying to catch up and always desperately trying to keep everything together.
Oh, Beverly D'Angelo is the smarter of the two.
Oh my God!
Every single
when
time.
she comes out of that door in that outfit, when he falls off the roof into the bushes.
But he's
Every
constantly messing
time.
things up.
Yes.
He's constantly, like, you're right. He's constantly a step. Now, at his job, he seems to be a very good person at his job.
He makes some of the finest food additives
There's
of
fair point.
anyone.
Everyone seems to give him a lot of respect.
And
at
a
his job.
model of the pool that he's gonna make too. I mean, that's like
Well,
you know,
we were talking so much about this movie. I think we should actually get into it.
Let's do it.
we can't have a gift first.
Oh, we have gifts.
So as I brought you gifts last time too.
You did.
I've listened to most of the
Holy
episodes.
Grail Ale, wasn't it?
Yes, it was
Delicious.
Have other people brought you guys gifts?
No, only.
No, you were the only.
And
gift
what are we
giver.
what are we drinking right now, guys? Who made these cocktails?
Well, let me give it. It's not just what I'm drinking, but we really
Can
need
we get
to
a
take
shot
some-
of this?
We got to get some
gotta get a
photos
shot
of
of
this.
Nobody has a camera.
We'll get pictures.
Put it up
Sean
on the
is
website.
taking a picture.
www.cinefiles.
So we are drinking a
lot of sap.
lot of sap.
White Russian. I got it from Benson's.com. Just a little plug for Benson's.com. Great drinks, great friends.
And they're served in what I can only describe as a moose chalice.
It's a Wally World.
Oh, it is a Wally World.
Wally World Cup. The only problem with these, if somebody's listening that makes these, they really do not hold a lot of liquor. And they're really heavy.
They are heavy.
Yeah.
But in the best way.
I like, by the way, because you didn't have your mic in your hand, that you
I can
actually
say that
brought
off mic.
your glass to your mouth, hoping it would amplify you.
I wish we would have filmed that. Also, too, because like we're after the holidays now, which
Yes.
that you know it's hard. So I got into the holiday spirit, and I got you guys stockings.
What?
Yeah, we don't have a chimney to hang them from, so there you go.
Thank you. They,
Can we
they
look
are
inside?
beautiful red stockings.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm reaching
go
in.
for it.
Oh, nice.
We've begun our journey with Whoppers.
Whoppers.
I will be
Christmas
eating
Whoppers,
these
no less.
during the podcast. You'll
Yeah,
be too.
definitely.
Oh, Swedish fish.
Oh.
These were in my great aunt and uncle's den in the back room when I was a kid, and I knew the bowl they were in, and at all holidays, I ate Swedish fish.
Did they get really hard? Like when you weren't there
They
for a
were
little while,
always
did they
fresh.
get hard?
They were
Really?
always fresh.
hard to get.
Ooh, classic cocktail jelly bellies.
Yeah.
Very
Margarita, peach Bellini, pomegranate Cosmo, pina colada, strawberry daiquiri, and mojito.
Mojito.
Oh, I hope they have actual alcohol in them.
Got a little high chew strawberry, fruity gum. Is it gum? Is this gum or candy?
No, they're like gummy. Oh, you've never had a high chew?
No.
You gotta open it up and have one.
You should have one right now. They're
They go great
delightful.
with White Russians.
You do. And finally, of course, a Kinder Joy.
Oh.
Very, very.
Everybody got the same thing, so you guys can't be mad. There might be one other little
I think
thing.
I got one.
Little
I got one
things.
other. I got one other.
Oh,
A little gum to freshen up when we're done.
Couple of orbits.
Yeah.
Thank you so much,
Mike Ross, you are the greatest gift giver of the Cine-Files.
Thank you.
Truth.
Thanks for having me on again, guys.
It only took a couple of years.
This has been great.
Yeah.
All right. Well, this has been a good episode of the Cine.
No. Because guess what? We were about to go through an animated credit sequence,
Oh boy, here we go.
Yeah, man.
which is really fun and
It's
funny.
that time. Christmas time is here. Everybody knows there's not a better time of year.
And that's all I have to say about that.
Perfect.
It is Santa.
We're in the car singing Come All Ye Faithful in harmony.
Sing it, Russ.
Take it, Russ.
La la
La la la la la la.
Is this something that you both experienced growing up with your family, singing Christmas carols in the car?
I'm Jewish.
That's irrelevant, I think. Plenty of Jewish people
Every
celebrate
Jewish
Christmas.
person wants to
We
celebrate
did
Christmas.
sing songs in the car. We did not. I don't remember singing Christmas carols. What's funny is neither of my dad is tone deaf, and my mom was not a great singer, so it was not like
Sounds like
in
fun.
harmony. My dad's belief on singing was, because he had a deep voice, was as long as he sang like the lowest notes he could sing, that was probably correct.
No.
We did, definitely. And now that I have a 3-year-old, her favorite thing is Christmas music. And we definitely are. The problem is my wife didn't sing very well, so the harmonizing happens between me and my daughter.
Oh, wow. Good.
Yeah, we tell her to sit it out.
I
Yes,
lo-
this absolutely happened when I'm in my childhood.
I love the language when Clark has to describe what they're going to do.
We're kicking off our fun old-fashioned family Christmas by heading out into the country in the old front-wheel drive sleigh to embrace the frosty majesty of the winter landscape and select that most important of Christmas symbols.
Yes,
It's just great.
perfect.
It is.
He's been planning it all year long.
Yeah.
Like, this is the start of the journey he has been planning his entire life.
Well, and this is what's so great about Clark and so terrible is that
Swedish fish are open right now.
Is that he has envisioned the perfect holiday experience.
Oh, yeah.
And he is going to do whatever he possibly can to make that thing happen.
Correct.
So we're heading off to get a tree. Mm-hmm. But unfortunately, there's a truck that's kind of tailgating him a little bit, wants him to pull over. And Clark just reasonably slides over so the guy can pass him, and there's no problem. Is that what happens?
No. You can't let it go.
Can't not let it
Cannot
go.
let it go.
Now, see, this is what I had grown up. That section of the movie is what I had grown up with my dad.
That was your Christmas?
Oh, yeah. My dad loved picking fights with drivers on the road. It was the greatest thing ever. So Christmas carols, nary a carol was sang in our car. But certainly the battle of who's kin is mas macho in the car happened all the time growing up as a kid.
So, because I don't, that gear, I don't have that in my person. Like, I can be very competitive in certain areas, but why? Like, I'm going to get in front of that guy and slow down and, he won't pass me. And why? I don't understand.
Because that wasn't part of the plan. That's why.
Yeah.
It wasn't part of the plan. But one of the best moments of the movie is about to happen in the first minute and a half. It's the look he gives.
Describe it for me.
He says, "Don't worry, Ellen. I got this." And he is turning, but he does this head thing, like as he's looking over and does this slight head tilt, like everything is going to be okay, and then winds up underneath the truck. But that simple head tilt and look to the left is one of the best laughs in the movie.
Yes.
His little looks are just amazing.
Perfect.
Yeah, no, they're great. And the moment under the
Is that a practical effect, by the way? Do you know?
Yes. So all of the driving with the Griswolds is process. It's green screen. But and this was, by the way, that stuff was the first day of shooting. It's a first-time director. One thing I didn't mention is that the original director was Chris Columbus.
Correct.
And he got Home Alone. And so he said, nope, I'm going to go do Home Alone instead. And they bring in this guy whose name I honestly forgot. And he was a commercial director. This is his first day. And yes, those are stunt people underneath a slightly raised up truck driving in tandem under the truck. That's a practical effect. Wow. Well, there's really no other way to do it, frankly. Like, you're not going to do a model for that. And there's no CG. So there's no... They could composite it, but it'd be really hard. No, it's easier to get, we're going to drive this speed and drive under the truck.
Right, and if these stunt guys who don't have a union yet die. Who cares? Like, who cares? We'll just right.
Sure.
I don't think they had a union at this point.
You made me uncomfortable, and yes, they did have a union.
All right.
I'm pretty sure they've had one
think
since
they
the 50s.
The union's been around a while.
I'm not sure what the
And Ellen Beverly D'Angelo gives a prayer in which she says, "And forgive my husband."
That's not what he does.
And he
Amen. Hallelujah.
and he pulls out, jumps, smashes through the Christmas tree sign.
Yeah.
And we're going off to look for a tree.
She is a saint. To deal with all Clark's bullshit, she is such a saint.
She should have left him a long time ago.
A long time ago. It should never have
But
procreated.
he provides.
He
you
does
know?
provide. I'm sure there are plenty of. That's a beautiful woman, Beverly D'Angelo. I'm sure there's plenty of
Certainly.
men who would fight to provide.
But
For
this
her.
is the you see when your husband is continually risking the family's lives
And your life.
and you're just going, okay.
Yeah.
This is where, like, I was thinking as I was watching, it's like, what is wrong with her? Like, why is she allowing
Well, you get
all these
a little
things
bit
to
of the
happen?
hint of that with the
Oh,
parents.
the parents.
Oh,
Great
yeah.
point. Great
A
point.
little bit, and then the cousin Eddie side of it. But we can talk about that.
So
later.
we're trudging through the snow to go cut down our tree. Have you ever done the real tree cut down?
we did not like that. I mean, that's
It seems to me they're off the tree farm. They just went off into the woods.
Oh, yeah.
They started at a tree farm.
oh yeah.
Yeah.
There it is.
And of course, the god lights come down, and there we see the perfect 20-foot tall, huge tree. Kids are freezing, and we should say that the kids are Juliette Lewis and what's his
Johnny
name?
Galecki.
Johnny Galecki.
Rich.
By the way, is this the first time you realized they were recast or no? Because Anthony and Michael Hall.
It's Anthony Michael Hall.
No, what are you talking about? It's the same kids every time. What are you talking about? Yeah, he mentioned because it's like, yeah, you want to keep the kids young. Any older, it's not
It's not fun anymore.
You know? Yeah.
It's only fun when you're freezing young kids.
Exactly.
Although Juliette Lewis, she goes and makes Natural Born Killers like
Next.
it's like a year later.
Yeah. And then
And Cape
after
Fear.
that.
Yeah. And then the last button on that scene is
Dad, did you bring a saw?
doing.
The sound design guy on this movie, there's so many like
Yeah.
really goofy sound effects in like that are just I don't know. They feel weird, but they make sense for this, but it's weird.
Well, this is what's funny about this movie is Bugs Bunny style. I mean, this is a cartoon.
Totally.
So that we have cartoon sound effects.
Absolutely.
And we have physical things happening that are way beyond realism, and that gets sillier and sillier as we're going to go along.
Which I think this is why there's an animated sequence to intro the movie. This is to let you know
That's a great point.
this is a cartoonish film. And I appreciated that.
And working in the animation world, all due respect, I agree.
Now I don't know how you
I don't know how you're.
Now I don't know how you're
yeah.
using it.
I'm confused. Okay. All right.
We drive home and we see that they have somehow literally pulled the tree out by its roots.
I don't know how they did that.
Ridiculous.
Clark is surprisingly strong.
He is.
And we're back home.
Do you think that was written in the script, or they got like the prop guy, like they got back to the car and he's like, "Yep, this was just a decision that we made."
I will tell you specifically. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Great.
Okay.
I just don't think all four of them could have trudged that
that tree. I mean, I have pulled a tree out from the ground. It's really hard.
Yes.
And we had chainsaws, and like it's hard. Anyway, we're back home. Let's meet the neighbors.
Oh my God.
And this is right before Seinfeld, isn't it? Because this is shot in '88, and she comes on to Seinfeld in '89 or '90.
Right.
Yeah.
And this is like right after her stint in
After
SNL. So
SNL.
she's kind of in that weird kind of I don't know what I'm going to do next.
Well,
kind
and
of
I'm
place.
sure she's very happy to get a little
Sure.
supporting, funny
course.
role.
with a legendary SNL guy.
Right.
Yeah.
Yep.
And they are, I think they are, like, this is the yuppie. Like, this is the perfectly classed. Here are the obnoxious yuppie. We are not supposed to like them.
Right.
And what's funny is, as I watched it, I went, I know I'm supposed to hate these people, but I really just feel bad for them at a certain point.
Oh yeah.
Because
That's getting older. When you're young in your 20s, you really hate that couple.
they're obnoxious.
right,
and-
right. As you get older, you're
Yeah,
like,
they
you know
go
what?
on the home and you're like, that window was expensive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
dick.
You know what?
The
Living
stereo
next to
system?
Clark can't be easy.
No.
Like, and maybe their backstory, like, neither one of them have parents anymore, and celebrating
yeah.
Christmas is really sad for them.
And the thing is, they don't actually do anything bad in the movie. Like they don't.
Yeah.
They don't. The first thing that happens is Clark comes out with the hockey mask and the chainsaw, and they say,
Hey, Griswold, Where do you think you're going to put a tree that big? Bend over and I'll show you.
And then
You
followed.
got a lot of nerve, Griswold.
I wasn't talking to you.
I mean, that is a horrible thing
Yeah.
to say to your neighbors.
Yeah.
I mean,
It is, but you got to imagine the years they've lived there. They've probably done some pretty crappy stuff.
well, I think
Maybe.
the movie sets up like, here are the asshole neighbors.
Yeah.
But in fact, they never do anything in the film
know.
asshole-ish.
They could do a prequel. Maybe they can
They're
explain
like
all
the
that.
self-involved LA neighbors.
Yeah.
Yes.
Totally.
Right? So they're immediately the villains.
Like,
just by
and-
look and appearance.
and-
They have some of the best one-liners
Yes,
in
they
the movie
do.
too.
And today they would be a whole different set of stuff. It wouldn't be the Bang & Olufsen stereo and the Evian water. It would be other things today, but we could still cast the self-obsessed,
Those because I remember the one neighbor too. We had a neighbor like this that had those automatic CD players.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
He had like 500 CDs, and that's what the icicle goes into, right?
Yep.
It's like the automatic CD player. Oh my god, so rich.
The tree has made it into the living room. And he's still trying to make it all good. No, it's not too tall. It's just needs a little thinning out. That's all.
A lot of
It's
sap.
A lot of sap. And then he cuts it, and it breaks the window.
In the most ridiculously comedic way too. Like the branches go straight out.
Yeah.
It's so goofy.
I love the physical comedy of them in bed with him with the sap on his fingers.
Amazing.
It is really funny.
Reading the
Amazing.
magazine and
With
her
the-
hair.
her
Yeah,
hair,
yeah,
and
yeah.
yeah, it's really. And again, this is where you see Chevy is so good.
Yeah.
And what we hear is that all the family is coming, both sets of parents, and there's going to be a lot of conflict, and there's going to be and he's just like, this is Christmas. That's what this is about.
This was my Christmas though. Every Christmas we have, and Marissa too, my wife, between 15. Back in the day, it was even more 15 to 20 people that spent Christmas Eve and Christmas and slept over, and then had Christmas morning with us the next day.
We went and visited. It was my mom's side of the family for Christmas Eve and my dad's side of the family for Christmas Day and various other things. And I will say, I don't know what your experience of family holidays have been. There was frequently some upset.
Yes.
Always.
There was one holiday where there was just a screaming match in the back room, the same room as the Swedish Fish, by the way. There was another holiday where there was yelling about how the butter was sliced. There was a lot of, there's just holidays have upsets.
I used to hate Christmas because of that. Both sides of my family always had drama because Latinos just inherently have drama at holiday functions. Always.
but-
and yeah, go ahead.
No, but was like Christmas. Was there ever a sacred? Was like Christmas morning at least?
If
'Cause
we
we
were
never
in-
get to that in this movie.
If we were in our house by ourselves, yes, Christmas morning was great. But if we were at another house going there to celebrate, it was not always good because sometimes we would sleep over. The family would sleep
Right.
over, all of us, like on the ground or whatever. We would just sleep on the ground and wake up the next morning and everyone opened their presents.
That wasn't fun.
It was not no, because and I'll tell you why. I'll give you an example of how bad our family was. My grandmother, my father's mother, this is not a nice woman. She was staying with our aunt's kids. She found out what my brother, my sister, and I were getting from another pair of aunt and uncles and switched the names on the presents so that the family she was
Wow.
staying with would get the better she thought they were better presents than for us, and she got caught doing it by me. A 15-year-old
Wow.
kid walked in on his grandmother changing the names on the presents, and I was at that age where I went to my dad, told my mom and dad what happened, and my dad didn't want to do anything because he didn't want to upset his own
Right,
family.
sure.
My mom went and raised hell because you don't mess with my mother's kids. She went ape shit on my grandmother and on the people, and everything got switched around. And from that point forward, we never again did a Christmas. Yeah, a big Christmas. We never went again to a big Christmas.
Was that was your favorite Christmas?
No, I was saying that. I'm telling you, that's why I hated
I just
Christmas
thought
for
that
a
was
long time.
Like that was the best one. Like
No, that's the example, the worst thing, because Michael Vogel had to bring me back into loving Christmas through Folk Christmas and other things because I always had a terrible experience with that holiday. Now it's my favorite holiday.
The more, because I've said before, Jewish kid who grew up celebrating Christmas. The morning of Christmas with my immediate family, was the best. Loved
Yeah.
it. As soon as part of it is I didn't like big parties. And like with my family, when I was a little kid, I had to dress up in a suit, to go to things,
Right.
and it was just, a lot of people, and you were required to behave a certain way and do certain things. And it was,
So the part of the movie where it goes, ding dong,
oh yeah,
ding dong, really
absolutely
resonates with you. Okay.
One more thing about the scene that I like is
Wait,
that,
can I tell you about my Christmases?
Oh, sure.
They were perfect.
okay,
We had the best Christmases ever.
all right,
Yeah.
That's it. My dad would leave the VHS player playing on extended play and just film. We have video of all from when I was 0 till probably last year. He just filmed the whole thing.
Wow.
So that's it. I'll probably pull them out at the end of this. We can watch them.
That's
Our
another thing
Christmases
to do.
were perfect. Great stories, everybody.
I love the last moment where Beverly D'Angelo's basically saying, "You know how you get,"
Right.
And he goes,
I want to have Christmas here in our house. It means a lot to me. All my life I've wanted to have a big family Christmas.
and she says,
It's just that I know how you build things up in your mind, Sparky. You set standards that no family event can ever live up to.
When have I ever done that?
and then she just goes on the list of parties, anniversaries, weddings, and
Fingers stuck.
Fingers are stuck in the, and it's a great mix
Lampshade.
of her funny lines and him stuck to everything because of the sap. It's a great end of the scene.
I rewatch that every year and try to figure out because he does have sticky stuff on some
yeah.
of it.
Oh, sure.
But he's holding it at some points too. Like you can't catch. It's like really hard to catch. Like what's got sticky stuff on it? What's he holding? It's brilliant.
No, he's really good.
She is the Ginger Rogers to his Fred Astaire.
100%.
Because she
Sure.
plays straight
Totally.
with all his ridiculousness. That
Totally.
whole scene is a perfect example. She never breaks. She never gets frustrated. She just straight delivers the lines as her hair is covering her face, as everything's going on around her. She's brilliant, Beverly D'Angelo.
We're off at work where we find out that he is a food additive specialist. We find out there's this bonus check coming, which is a key plot point, and that he is going to get a pool.
He's created a non-varnish. What is it?
It's a semi-permanent, non-asthmatic food varnish.
That's it.
Yeah.
Sounds delicious.
This is perfect writing, too, because she says in that scene, you build things up, you build things up.
Right.
And here's Clark already assuming what bonus he's going to get and what he's going to do with that bonus, so building up expectations in his own mind. This is a pattern.
Absolutely. And not only do we find that out, but he actually put down a down payment on that pool before getting the bonus.
Right.
Just assuming he's going to get it. And as we're hearing that, we see marching up the big boss, Brian Doyle Murray. And what's funny
Related to
Bill Murray.
Bill Doyle.
Bill Doyle. William Doyle.
What's funny is our Christmas movie last year also had Brian Doyle Murray because we did Scrooge.
Yes.
Are you the one who was working on that non-nutritive cereal varnish?
Yes, sir.
I've got to give a speech to a trade group. I'd like to mention it. Write up a brief summary and have it to me by the end of the day.
And I do love as all the train of executives go by,
Merry
Clark's
Christmas.
Merry Christmas,
Merry Christmas. Kiss my ass. Kiss
my
his ass.
Happy Hanukkah.
Happy Hanukkah.
My guess is that's Chevy Chase.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Let's go shopping.
Can I show you something?
I was just smiling. I was just browsing.
Where I think Chevy Chase is so good is doing things like his stumbling monologue with Nicolette Scorsese,
Ah, right.
who is the beautiful woman behind. And as far as I know, she's not related.
Yeah.
Wouldn't be the Christmas shopping season if the stores were any less hotter than they are. Whew, it is warm in here.
Well, you have your coat on
Yes. Oh, do I? How did that happen?
because it's cold out.
Yes. It is. It's a bit nipply out. I mean nippy out. What did I say? Nipple?
And the way he laughs, it just, that's what I'm saying. Like, you can't, I challenge, this is another challenge, listeners. You can't redo what he does in those scenes. It's brilliant. And it's so real.
Well, and what's so funny is it's him trying to live in the illusion that he's flirting with this girl. You know what I mean?
Correct.
Yeah, right.
Like, and him not being able to quite pull it off and then trying to recover and then getting caught in it. He's actually doing so much stuff. That's
Even
why I
just
think
the
you're right.
panties and he misses the pocket over
Yeah.
there for a second. Oh my God.
But doesn't she lift up her dress?
She does.
She does.
So I think he's getting somewhere in his mind.
Well,
whether he's actually getting somewhere, is up for debate.
Well, the implication, because this is the Christy Brinkley
Right,
thing, the implication is that Clark Griswold could get with this woman if all circumstances were different.
But what I love about it, though, is he admits that he is married and there's a woman there. You know what I mean? Like, he's not total slimeball with it, you know? Like,
No shit.
I think he's given the opportunity. No shit. By the way, this year where it was screened at our friend's house,
Oh, yeah.
yes.
he was playing it on TBS. So here's what we got. That's my name. Russ walks up.
Really?
I was so mad, and everybody was in the kitchen talking, and I was like, "What are we watching this on?" He's like, "TBS. Do you not want the commercials?" I was like, "I want all the words that I know from watching this movie."
Our host, who
Yes.
will be nameless, would not spring for the $3 to rent Christmas Vacation.
Or nobody brought it who was part of the
I mean,
people
I
who
have
were
it
coming
sitting
over?
right over here somewhere.
Yeah.
I was just so mad.
You mentioned that doorbell. It is ringing. It's time to meet the family. And they sweep in with discussions of moles and who looks old and pints of fluids coming out of their back.
God.
And it is an entrance.
Yes.
One other thing about this scene, when they were filming it, an earthquake happened.
Wow.
Apparently, Chevy pushed everyone out of the way for him to get to safety first.
Well, think it stands.
Do you know what's really sad watching that scene is they're all dead. All
Yeah.
four,
Many-
all
many
four
of
are
those.
dead.
Yeah,
Wow,
right.
all four.
All four.
E.G. Marshall, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. George's mom.
We should say the great E.G. Marshall,
Yes.
who we last saw. Have we done anything with him since 12 Angry Men?
Not since 12 Angry Men.
Fantastic actor.
Yes.
I wonder what he's thinking about this. Probably just like, I got a gig.
Yeah, I think actors, especially actors at that age, they're like quite happy to do these. I mean, that old guy that plays the oldest guy that plays the grandfather, like he had a comeback with Prizzi's Honor and this film, and then Forget Paris. Like he had a little
One
bit
of
of a
was
run.
crazy. So that's William Hickey.
Yeah, William Hickey.
Here's what I learned about him. You want to know how old he actually is when he made this film?
No.
62. Which is, I'm 51. That guy's not that old. And because he seems like he's 100 years old.
he does.
But it's pretty good makeup because in the flashback that they do when he's watching the video, the tape, he actually looks really young in that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like I think they dolled him up a little bit.
Yeah.
Movie magic.
I love the next moment. There's like the quiet moment after the arrival. And Clark says,
I'll park the cars and check the luggage, and I'll be outside for the season.
it's a great
Kind of
moment.
giving in just a little bit, but like I need a break. All good.
So I have a few lights out on my house right now
Yeah.
for the holidays. They're 2 strands. They're solar powered. Clark has a few more than that. 28,000 lights, I think.
And those are like the old school ones too.
One bulb goes out. and
They
you're
all
done.
go out.
Yeah.
But like like pure glass,
Yeah.
not like real deal.
And he's got the sun out to help him put up the stuff. And Russ says,
Think you might be overdoing it, Dad?
Russ, when was the last time I overdid anything?
and then here, unravel these, and throws him a giant knot of stuff. The neighbors come out to look.
I'd hope he falls and breaks his neck.
I'm sure he'll fall, but I don't think we're lucky enough to have him break his neck.
I think it's the anticipation of watching him on that ladder that makes it so damn funny. Because you're just waiting. You know this is going to go horribly.
Yeah.
100%.
I haven't seen Vacation, the original Vacation, in forever. It's not this slapsticky, is it?
No, it's more in the vein of Animal House, where it's situational.
More situational.
so.
Right, like with directions. Fuck your mama. Thank you. It's more situational.
A little darker too.
Oh yeah, it's a little darker.
little
Absolutely. Especially the Wally World sequence is pretty dark.
That's really dark.
Kidnapping a security
Yeah.
guard against his will and forcing him to make you go on rides is pretty dark.
Comedy's changed. Mm-hmm. There was a lot of stuff that we thought we could make jokes about that people will not.
I still do. I don't give a fuck. I don't care.
Yeah, we noticed.
I still do it.
He does fall down that ladder.
Yes.
Well, no, let's just break this scene down a little bit because this is one of my favorite scenes. Because if you guys decorated a house for Christmas,
sure.
Not like you.
thank you. So
I'm telling you, you are my Clark Griswold.
100% have stapled a clothing item to the house. Use the staple gun, went into like the lighting, like into the wire of the lighting, shorted the whole thing out.
Oh.
100% with like, put the ladder up. You think it's secure. That moment where there's like the pause where he hears the click of the ladder.
Yep.
And it goes down. And it's the quick, like, did anybody see?
Yep.
Did anybody see? Okay, still secure. Good, great. Okay, let's go.
I was I had like, you try to push down garbage into a garbage can that's full. So I like kind of tried to push it down, couldn't push it down. So I climbed onto the garbage can and now I'm jumping on top of it to make it go down. And our garbage can has wheels. And so the garbage can went out from under me.
Ooh.
And I flipped out of that, landed on the hood of the car, rolled off the hood of the car onto the bricks. And I had to say, I have a lot of practice falling down from doing Aikido. I did a really nice fall. Like I did well. I did dent the hood slightly and hit the ground, and I popped up, and I did exactly that. I looked. Anyone see that? Anyone see that? We're cool.
Yeah.
Did
you get right back up there? And
jumped right back up.
Yeah, get it back down, and that was good.
You got to get right back in that garbage
Absolutely.
can. Get back in the can.
Absolutely.
That's what my dad always told me.
And then also, he falls off the ladder, and he goes onto the other side and does that motion with his hand where it's in, out, like just die. Every single time, die.
Yeah.
We hear a little bit more about what some of the sleeping arrangements are going to be for the family.
Yeah.
Juliette Lewis not happy about
At all.
sleeping with her brother.
Well, I don't know what to say except it's Christmas and we're all in misery.
Well, this is the thing, and this is what I. So we traveled with my family. I was with my mom. We were with my kid, and what we had to tell my son over and over again was, it's the holidays. You have to, you have to make this sacrifice. Yes, you're up late. Yes, you did get to sleep, or all this stuff, because, and it's a weird thing. Like, here's the happiest time of the year where we have to do all
Make
this
sacrifices.
crazy hard stuff.
Absolutely.
It's very strange. Again, we're back on the roof. His leg gets tangled in the lights, and we're waiting for that slapstick. And then he slides down that roof, catches the gutter. And again, to the same thing you said before, there's the pause hanging onto that gutter.
Yeah.
And that's part of where the comedy comes from.
Yep.
Snap, snap, snap.
Yep. And the rain gutter flies through the neighbor's window, destroying that stereo.
It's the ice that had been the water.
Oh,
that
the
had
water
been
inside
frozen.
the gutter.
And the physics of this. I've watched this movie many times. It does not track.
No.
But it's still great. Still a great scene.
It's time to light the lights.
250 strands of light, 100 individual bulbs per strand for a grand total of 25,000 imported Italian twinkle lights.
Yes.
These are the good lights.
By the way, and you didn't get it from Amazon.
Nope.
Back of the
No.
How?
He has a guy in Naples.
Oh, love it.
And then he makes a speech. He should learn don't make a speech.
I dedicate this house to the Griswold family Christmas.
Test the lights first.
I know, but he's just so he feels like he did, and then drum roll,
and
then not everybody's doing it. He goes drum roll. You can see like a little bit of anger, just like this is gonna be perfect. Drum roll,
and then that wonderful Chevy Chase overly dramatic singing voice.
Joy to the world.
Nothing. It's beautiful. And what I love too is the father-in-law and just the mother-in-law who just already hate him, obviously.
So,
no respect for him at all.
But love cousin Eddie,
that is the weirdest thing.
But that happens in
it does happen in
happens.
families.
Like, just treat him nicely. Why are you such a jerk?
Well, needless to say, the lights don't work. The family all abandons Clark, who wants Russ to come help him check every one of those 25,000 bulbs. No, it's just Clark all alone in the cold. We see everyone in their horrible sleeping conditions. It's the next morning. Clark heads up to the attic.
Oh, my God.
And he's hiding some presents. Finds an old present.
Do you remember? Do you remember what? I always try to remember and I forget. But do you remember what year it was from and what it was?
Oh, no.
I don't.
It was Happy Mother's Day. And I think it was like 78 or something like that.
Wow.
It's probably so wrong, but I feel like that's right.
But it is Happy Mother's Day.
It's Happy Mother's Day for sure.
I thought it said Happy Birthday, Clark. Does it not?
Yeah.
Ooh.
I don't know. I defer to.
We'll find out after the break.
And
all due respect, you might be right.
And then Grandpa comes out and closes that attic.
Grandma comes out.
Oh, it's a grandma.
She comes out and she's like, does the like, overacting, it's so cold.
Yeah.
She goes, it's so cold. And then closes it. Slam.
And now everyone's heading out, and Clark can't get out of the attic. He's yelling to them. They're heading to the cars, and Ellen's going, well, I think Clark wanted to come with us. And they're just like,
I gotta get some food. I just took my pills.
Yep. And they head off. He screams through that little window, and now he's trapped in the attic.
Well, another great Lotzie when he's trying to open up that damn window and slams it really hard with his hand and smacks the back of his head. Also one of my favorite moments of the movie, because you get to see the most amazing intricacies of how he has stapled all of the lights to that house, that they go in concentric circles around that, like how much work was done to make it look as good as it is.
Here's what I don't understand about holiday. So Karen she loves holiday lights and always wants to do more, and I'm always just like, well, if I work so hard to get them up, why don't I just leave them up? Like, I don't, because you have to take them all down.
You like the hillbilly stuff. You like to lay it up. You like to leave it up all year.
Absolutely. I am full hillbilly.
Well, I'll tell you, I totally respect that. We didn't get our tree until this year, Lindley and I, until our second week of December. And we are purposely leaving it up for another week because the tree is beautiful.
Sure.
And
they were expensive this year because
they were
fires.
Expensive. And I don't want to take it down because of what it symbolizes. So I understand, Steve. Sometimes leaving stuff up, it's not a bad thing for Christmas. It makes you smile every time you look at it.
I'm always like, look, if the lights are pretty, aren't they pretty in July?
Yeah.
Like, what's the problem?
I agree.
Look, Ross celebrates Easter once a year, but he leaves that crucifix up all year. So I feel like that's the same thing.
Both crucifixes all year.
There you go.
Better believe
I don't
it.
think that is the same thing.
Well, you don't think it symbolizes a season.
I think the crucifix is more of an. I've been to churches.
I think this is where Jews and Catholics just don't understand each other at this point.
I think that's
maybe
in the course of this podcast, you and I the three of us will come a little closer.
I think it's a really
Certainly
great
possible.
idea.
I think so.
This is a two-parter, right? We got to.
The way you're making it, yeah.
Everybody's having a lot of real fun. All right. You're not even recording, are you?
Nope. Nope.
This
I
is
told
like
Steve not to yet.
It's all a
It's just
prank.
a humor.
This is just like I think it went really well. I wonder where they're gonna post it. And then you don't.
Sorry, Mike. Your mic went out the whole time.
Yeah,
Yeah,
really.
but we still had a great time.
Clark steps on a board.
Oh God. Yeah.
And another.
3. And then the fourth one almost comes up and he stops it.
Old school.
This looks
comedy, man. This is Buster Keaton shit.
Totally.
Yeah, breaks through the floor. He's getting really cold, and I love the outfit that he puts together.
Well, it's first the outfit. Then he gets a thing, and then he busts through the floor.
The outfit of it's pink gloves and a green hat and the mink coat. I mean, that is just awesome.
And then he feels the warmth coming from the bed.
Oh yeah.
And he's just like, so good.
And then he finds the movies.
Oh.
And this is the crux of the character. It is, and here's a funny thing. There long ago when we did Crimes and Misdemeanors, the Woody Allen movie, there is a line from the professor, the old professor, who talks about love. And one of the things he says is that when you fall in love, you're trying to do two things. You're both trying to recreate the past, the love, your childhood feelings of love from your family, and correct the things that were wrong in your childhood.
Right.
That's Clark Griswold. Is that he is trying to recreate the perfect Christmases, and yet what we hear is that they were never perfect.
Correct.
Right.
And so he's trying to recreate and correct them. And of course, he is a classically tragic figure because his hubris has led him to believe that he can somehow create holiday perfection. And in fact, you cannot. And I so relate to this. There was so much in the last 2 weeks where I was like, we're just going to make this work. I can make I will take on whatever burden is necessary to make something perfect.
My 3-year-old, I was so excited for Christmas morning this year because last year she was she screamed and cried from 6 o'clock in the morning till 9 a.m.
Wow.
The only video I have of her is screaming at the top of the steps that she does not want to come downstairs.
Wow.
Merry Christmas.
Yep.
So we're we're giving her up for adoption. This is
Okay.
so check out our comments down below. You can see how to.
Did you put it on a
get
website?
Kid.
Are there
Yeah.
pictures?
All of our shots. We
She's
believe in
very cute.
vaccination. Vaccinate your kids. I don't mean to get political right now. I know some people don't like that. And what I love about this moment, though, again, in how it looks like. I mean, it honestly looks like he is in tear and like totally moved.
Yep.
Like you're right. This is like, and they could have done this at the beginning. Like I love this that it's here.
Yeah.
In the movie, because it's like a good time to reconnect with him as a character.
Ellen comes home, opens up the attic. Great. Clark comes right down the hole. Clark's outside with the lights. Ellen comes out. I like that her nickname for him is Sparky.
It's cute. She touches his little thing in his chin too.
Yeah.
And she asks him, well, did you plug it in? I don't actually understand exactly what is happening in what she's plugging in and what wasn't plugged in and what he's connecting. It doesn't actually track for me, but the gag is really funny.
It is the switch in your house that controls
the plug.
The plug.
Yeah.
That's all that it is.
So she goes in and switches it, and those lights come on.
With the most ridiculous, the way those things are plugged in. That was our house. Except my dad was really smart. He would wrap it all in plastic so it wouldn't get wet. And I still do that to this day. I think it's probably
that's good
more
fire safety.
And then it rains and then it fills with water. Man, they still work.
I tell you, the craziest thing about growing up poor was that you got the cheapest extension cords you could find. And then you'd hook them to
Right.
to connect to create extra plugs.
Yes.
And then you'd plug. So everything that I saw in that movie, yes, it's exaggerated, but it's not out of the
very
realm
real.
of reality.
Very, very real.
I don't know how many times we had to change fuses at Christmas because of blowing it out from that much.
we were not poor, but my dad grew up poor, we lived below our.
Mike,
means
you
in
plug that
way.
in right now, Mike.
Oh
Plug
my
that in
God.
right now. There's an extra plug in that 20 plug thing.
100%.
Yeah.
Did you ever actually shut down a nuclear power plant? No. Or not shut it down. They had to turn on the nuclear power plant.
So ridiculous.
It's
And like that was a scene, like they had to film that scene.
Yep.
Like they had to put that, so ridiculous. Also too, it's fun to watch when they go into the garage where that's all at. There's like a McDonald's like sign on the side of there's little like trinkets from the other movies that are in there too. Just love those little pieces of it.
They blind the neighbors who fall down the stairs. And of course, still Clark is not seeing that the lights
No.
are on, because every time the lights go on, he's not looking, and then the lights go off and they switch back and forth. And finally, he sees it and he goes, Ellen, I fixed it.
Hallelujah.
Calls the family out, the neighbors come out, and they're all pretty darn impressed, actually.
correct.
It does look beautiful. And I love you go down the line, and each family member is, even father-in-law and mother-in-law are kind of, no, it's good, it's good. Of course, Art, the father-in-law, does say,
The little lights are not twinkling. I know, Art, and thanks for noticing.
and then as you're panning down, suddenly there you see Randy Quaid.
Doesn't it?
House sure does look swell, Clark.
Thanks, Eddie. I hope it enhances your holiday spirit. Dear Catherine. Eddie?
Eddie?
It really is beautiful, Clark. Eddie? I think he says it 3 times. Yeah.
We were gonna call, but Eddie wanted to make it a surprise.
Yeah. You surprised?
Surprised, Eddie? If I woke up tomorrow with my head sewn to the carpet, I wouldn't be more surprised than I am right now.
Those jokes, there are a few jokes, it's with Eddie that you get more of the Fletch sense of humor, where
Correct.
he says a joke knowing that Eddie is not
Correct.
going to be aware.
Can I ask something now in this moment?
Certainly.
How hard is this movie to watch now, knowing who Randy Quaid is?
Oh,
That has honestly no effect
yeah,
on me.
no effect on me at all.
Especially with because Marissa didn't see it until now. She didn't believe me, and I was like, just watch this scene when he comes in, and he says, "Hey, let's go find your sister."
Oh, right.
When when they come back into the house later on, he says, "Let's go back into the living room and find your sister, who is 15 years old."
Right.
I don't know. There's a little bit of weirdness for me when I still love him.
I guess
but
if
it's a
you
little
know
weird.
all that stuff about him, it would make it weird. I don't know too much about other than he's gone off the rails and he's got that big ass
nuts.
beard now, and he's in Canada hiding out or whatever. But like to me, he's such a smaller part of the enjoyment of the film that it doesn't bother me at all.
By the way, this is totally unrelated to that, but I looked up how old Chevy Chase and Randy Quaid are.
Oh,
I think
70?
not today, when they made this movie.
Oh.
I think Chevy is 41 and Randy Quaid is 38, or maybe it's the other
Wow.
way. Yeah, a lot younger than me. Let's just put it that way.
Me, 41. It was now.
Yeah, so you are my Clark Griswald.
Well,
and-
you're still claiming you're 41. All right, let's move on.
We introduced the kids, the dog, and the RV. There are a lot of jokes here.
Yeah.
Oh my god. The gerbils thing goes a little too far for me. I don't laugh at that. I don't.
Is
laugh
that on the
at
TBS
joke.
version?
I don't think so. I don't think so.
And of course, they want to stay at the house. Or at least the kids do, so the adults can stay in the RV.
Yeah.
And it's still just, we're going to make room.
Oh, Snots is gonna stay inside too.
Snots.
Right.
The pride and joy.
Yeah. We're inside. The dog is drinking out of the tree water, and
The Dickie. One of the best costuming choices of the movie ever.
they are drinking out of their glasses, not unlike our glasses.
Correct.
And we kind of hear a little bit about Eddie's family,
The
and
older kids. Who in the first one was not Kim Cattrall.
Linda, no, I'm sorry. The girl from New Girl, the Broadway, Jane Krakowski.
Jane Krakowski.
Yeah, right. She's the one
Yep.
that uses
Stirring
her
with her
arm to
fist.
stir me.
I have no memory of that.
Yeah.
Oh God. Yeah, he just got a promotion. He's gonna be a pixie dust spreader on the tilt-a-whirl, and then he just proceeds to knock over that wooden thing that takes forever to set up.
Can I refill your eggnog for you? Get you something to eat? Drive you out to the middle of nowhere? Leave you for dead?
No, I'm doing just fine, Clark.
And then we also hear that he bartered this RV from a buddy, which ends up later on being a lie.
It's a good-looking vehicle, ain't it?
Yeah, it's so nice parked in the driveway.
Yeah, it sure does. But don't you go falling in love with it now, because we're taking it with us when we leave here next month.
Eggnog going everywhere. Fantastic.
Clark goes in back at work to talk to Mr. Shirley, his boss, and give him a gift. And he is not interested in talking to Clark Griswold. And I love his line.
If you'll excuse me, I'm in the middle of an important call. Get me somebody. Anybody. And get me somebody while I'm waiting.
While you're waiting. Perfect. All the gifts in the background too that match.
Yeah.
It's all he tries to like scoot his in the front.
Let's go sledding.
Great scene.
We have apparently some space-age new lubricant from the firm that he's put on his little dish.
Correct. But Eddie can't go because why?
The monologue about the plate in his head. I'm just going to play it.
You know that metal plate in my head?
How can I forget?
I had to have it replaced because every time Catherine revved up the microwave, I'd piss my pants and forget who I was for a half hour or so. So over at the VA, they had to replace it with a plastic one, and it ain't as strong, so... I don't know if I ought to go sailing down no hill with nothing between the ground and my brain but a piece of government plastic.
Please do. Okay, we'll pause. Just pause. Is it playing right now?
It is played.
Okay. That was hysterical.
Very well done.
You can edit it so there's enough space, right? We don't have
Very
to
well
wait.
done. No.
I love that.
I think Mike Ross is our most disruptive guest.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know how to... I don't know.
I like it.
I don't think I've laughed this
I'll
much
be
in one of our
quiet.
podcasts in a long time.
I like that you're giving us multiple takes to use of your
I'm
reactions.
reading the live comments. Everybody's having a really good time. And the donations are up too.
Donations of
By the way,
Yeah.
if people donate now, if you donate in the next hour, I'll double that donation.
Wow.
Wow.
I've been listening
nice.
to a lot of NPR.
Well, what
people
if they
really
listen
good.
to it and they hear now and it's like 6 months from now?
Yeah.
That's fine too?
Done and done. All right. No, it's not.
Only right now.
Only right now.
Yep.
Well, but how will they know they said that? Because they haven't heard this now.
I don't know. Let's edit that part out.
Okay, then.
We just came back from that clip. Where we got hit in the head.
And he pushes off.
Correct.
Let her rip, hang pen.
Here's the thing I don't understand.
This scene is
this scene
ridiculous
so much.
It's because you see the end of the hill. It's ridiculous.
He goes off like a rocket with
Later,
flames.
dudes.
So if you have lubricant, its job is to reduce friction, therefore reducing heat. There would not be flames. This is not physically accurate. The science is wrong.
Well, assuming the lubricant worked. Clearly it didn't.
Clearly it does work.
Well,
Why is he going so fast?
Yeah, but it doesn't work to reduce the heat. So
Can I talk? Can I do?
Yes,
am I
please.
being too disruptive? I was going to talk about the fact he goes through a bunch of trees, and that those trees aren't even on the hill.
Yeah.
Look down the hill. The hill.
Good
is so
point.
small.
It's true.
A lot of people didn't catch that when they saw it. That's a little insider information about the movie. I don't think he did his own stunt in that. That's why he pulls his hood up too.
my God.
I shouldn't be eating Swedish fish right now. It makes it really hard for me to talk.
You can.
I love this scene because the way it's shot is so believable. As ridiculous as the scenario is, it's shot in a believable way.
Absolutely.
The speed with which they shoot this thing and the flames coming up and then the shots of him in close up just like all of it works so well.
I love this is great. This is great. I'm dead. It's another day. We've reached Christmas Eve.
Bill, did you get your bonus yet?
I just talked to my son. Company messenger brought something to the house. I guess that's it.
I don't get that bonus. I'm in it up to here.
Who's that actor?
I don't know. He's familiar.
Oh, that guy, isn't he the guy from Married with... No, I'm sorry. The guy in Raising Arizona who's like making the jokes with Frances McDormand?
That's the one that has too many kids.
Too many Polish jokes. One too many Polish jokes. He was on the Tracy Ullman Show for a number of years. He was a series regular on the Tracy Ullman Show.
Interesting.
Well, you have a very Merry Christmas. Very Merry Christmas.
We're back at the house, and Clark is looking out the window, and he envisions the pool of his future, and he envisions his family playing at the pool, and we're listening to Bing Crosby sing Mele Kalikimaka.
Mele Kalikimaka is a wise way to say Merry Christmas to you.
Yes.
And Randy Quaid is in an outfit.
Sorry.
By the way, apparently Randy Quaid had an Evian bottle stuffed in his shorts for much of the film to increase his bulging.
Sheesh.
Sounds about right.
And
yet he's complaining about other people lying to people. What an interesting guy this guy is.
He's a hell of a guy. And then we switch, and it's no longer Randy Quaid there. We have Mary, the woman from the counter at the store, Nicolette Scorsese, and this is totally the Christy Brinkley moment for the movie.
But when you're young, you're watching this like, we're going to see it.
Yeah.
We're going to we're going to see it. It's going to, but you don't.
No. Damn. And who shows up at that moment is the little Eddie's little daughter. Curly Sue. No, it's Sue. Sue. What's her name?
Oh, come on.
I don't remember.
We're going to take a commercial break. We'll be right back.
I have it somewhere.
Yeah, it's somewhere. It's all right.
And she asks him if he's Santa Claus.
This is one of the saddest scenes of the movie, by the way.
Oh, yeah.
It is sweet and sad and horrible and funny.
Oh.
She's a poor child.
Yeah.
So what's she going to know? Living in an RV with these
though.
Right, exactly.
It's not, because it's not just that she's poor. It's that her parents are terrible.
Yes.
They're like, you kids were bad. That's why he's not
yeah.
She's like, we were so good. We didn't get Jack.
Right.
He's shitting bricks. You really shouldn't say that. Sorry.
Shitting rocks.
Shitting rocks. It's like, that's fair.
I mean, and we later find out that he gave all their money to some televangelist or something.
Yeah.
Correct.
Yeah, and that is why they didn't get presents.
Correct.
Yeah, no, it's not good.
Isn't it Vegas Vacation where he buries it all and then forgets where he buried it? Or was that?
If you say so.
I think so.
I only saw it once.
That's terrible.
I don't think I ever saw it.
Maybe he gives the money to the televangelist and Fletch lives. So this whole thing is a Fletchiverse.
Whoa.
And this works all around.
By the way, the Fletchiverse is a good
Fletchiverse
phrase.
would be a fun thing to see.
Let's do it.
Cousin is in Spies Like Us. His other cousin is in Three Amigos. This is a whole Fletchverse.
You got to do that these days. It's the only way to make movies anymore.
I think there's a big. I think Universal's. They need a real property that they can really dig into.
After the Dark Universe, they got to create the.
I think the Fletchiverse.
I'll get us a meeting next week. Everybody's back in town. I'll get us a meeting.
But he really assures her that there is Santa Claus and he's going to come and it's a sweet, nice scene.
Yeah.
And I love again, good buttons on the scene.
Oh, Uncle Clark, are you sure you ain't Santa Claus?
I'm sure. I can't even afford to be an elf.
Good little button.
But also, like, they live in a pretty nice house. He's got a pretty, it's like...
Yeah, but he put himself totally in debt to put the down payment on.
Yeah.
It's the next morning. The family is fighting. Clark's looking out the window. She says, "What you looking at?"
Oh, the silent majesty of a winter's morn, the clean, cool chill of the holiday air, and an asshole in his bathrobe emptying a chemical toilet into my sewer.
Cut to.
With one of the best musical cues. It's like, bum, bum, bum. Just Cousin Eddie dumping shit into the sewer.
It is so nasty.
He doesn't know any better.
You ought to know it's illegal. It's a storm sewer. If it fills with gas, I pity the person who lights a match within 10 yards of it.
Cut to people smoking.
Correct.
We hear a beautiful version of Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer on a tuba.
Beautiful.
The neighbors come out and watch. Randy Quaid is so funny in this movie.
Yeah.
He's great. And that's what we hear Clark talking to Ellen about. He is worried that there are no presents for the kids.
Once again, he's legitimately good guy.
100%.
Dumb.
I agree.
At times, but
Angry.
legitimately good guy.
Angry in all sorts of ways, and dangerous as a human, but does have a good heart.
Yep.
I mean, you can be an asshole with a good heart. That is his motivation is correct.
Yes.
Telling the neighbors you should bend over and I'll show you
Yeah,
what.
right.
Not actually so
They
nice,
deserve it, though, as we said. They deserve it.
because they drink Evian.
Correct.
Let's go shopping with Eddie.
Oh, God.
It's a lot of dog food.
But also so many little light bulbs.
Oh, God.
He puts those light bulbs down. Eddie, like the physical nature of this scene is one. This is probably one of my favorite scenes in the movie.
It's really funny. And this is where Clark says, we want to help with the kids. And Eddie goes, "Oh no, you don't do that. You don't do that."
Yeah.
Now, come on. If you don't tell me what they want, I'll go out and get it on my own.
Eddie gives him a big
Isn't
bone
that a real
crunching hug.
treat?
Then he says, "Here's a little list, alphabetical."
I call that a Vogel list.
So is Catherine Ellen's sister?
Yes. I think that's what it is.
Eddie is not related to
I
Ellen.
don't think so.
Yeah.
Because that wouldn't make sense.
No.
Why does Art like Eddie?
I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. They're like...
Well, we like Eddie.
Do we?
Yeah, I think
I
you
like
just
him
said
as a
he's
character.
the funniest person in the movie.
Well,
yeah, but if you're
could
living in that world, though...
Oh, sure.
I wouldn't like Eddie at all.
Probably not.
I think Eddie's funny in a movie.
Yeah.
I mean, if that is the person who took my daughter away...
I don't know. I think they're cousins. I think that Ellen and Eddie's wife,
Catherine,
are cousins.
Okay.
Okay.
Otherwise, that would be her parents too, and it wouldn't. That doesn't make sense.
Right, because they don't have any kind of separate
right
kind of moment with the parents and her. Right. Good point.
It's Christmas Eve. And who shows up but Aunt Bethany and Uncle Lewis?
Jesus Christ.
Oh yeah.
You know what I didn't know? You know who Bethany is?
Meryl Streep.
Yes, that is actually Meryl Streep. It's an amazing performance.
She does everything. So that was a guess. Terrible.
This
guess.
is the original voice of Betty Boop and Olive Oil.
Yes.
What?
Yes.
Yeah.
She recently passed away, I think, in the last few
really?
years. Yeah.
How old was? Do you know how old she was?
I
in
did
this?
not look
Okay.
that
35. You want to talk about makeup?
22.
She was 3 years old when she did Betty Boop. Boop, boop, be-doo.
Say it, kid.
And as we said, that's William Hickey as Uncle Lewis. And there's some jokes with toupees.
Oh my God.
And they are amazingly funnily doddering. She brings in some presents. One of the presents is breathing.
So how is that done? I still don't know.
Chevy Chase with the present?
With the cat.
Oh,
because
yeah.
part of it is him moving it.
Right,
But there's
right.
definitely something that like the first jolt of it is not him moving it.
It looks so good.
It
And he
looks
is
so good.
funny with it.
Yeah.
I thought it was just him.
God damn it, she wrapped her cat. Then she tastes that. Oh, Ellen gets the Jell-O mold and Eddie licks her finger.
Oh, yeah.
It is.
Ugh.
Apparently that was Randy Quaid's idea.
Of course.
It's time for dinner.
Oh, man.
Beautiful looking turkey. He asks Aunt Bethany to lead Grace.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands. One nation indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I love that Randy stands.
Eddie stands.
That's the best.
It's good.
There's so again, we said it a million times on this podcast, but reaction shots are so important for comedy.
Oh, yeah.
And her starting with the Pledge of Allegiance and the looks that go around, and then they're like, "Oh, I guess we're doing this."
Yes. Yep.
And then Eddie standing up. It's really, really funny.
Catherine, this turkey tastes half as good as it looks. I think we're all in for a very big treat.
Save the neck for me.
Okay.
And then he just touches the turkey, and that is a great practical effect.
Fantastic. With the smoke.
The smoke coming out.
I told you I put it in for too long. There's the heart.
Apparently they had like 4 birds because this was hard to do.
Oh, I'm sure.
Like, how do you get this to work
yeah.
exactly right?
It reminds me of a friend who tried to cook a turkey in 2 hours in one of those because they were told that the recipe they could do it in 2 or 3.
Yeah. Our friend that thinks she can cook, she can't. Sorry.
I think I missed this one.
Yeah.
She thought
she could cook a turkey in
like 3 hours.
3 hours.
She found some recipe that said you could.
Yeah, she opened the oven and it ran out of the kitchen. True story.
Cut to later, they're all chewing dry.
Oh,
there's that lime jello.
Oh God.
Flipping it over the shoulder too. That's one of his best moments too. When he's chewing it, swallowing. Like, I'm just gonna make this work. It looks fine. Looks good.
So good.
Randy Quaid takes a taste of something as it goes by before serving himself. It's all good. It's all good stuff. And while all of this is happening, the cat is over with the tree, chewing on the lights.
Correct.
I was wondering how they did this, because that's a cat, and there's a light. It's a cable and a light on other side. And it's like, well, the cat could actually chew through that.
Yeah, I think this is before the animal union too. So they just had other cats
Just
ready to go.
There was no safety
No
at the time of
safety,
this film.
and it's a cat. Like, who really cares at the end of the day? So, yeah.
Fair.
Sorry.
From lying around.
And again, it's waiting for the horribleness to happen. That is where there's
Correct.
a lot of waiting.
Yeah.
Lewis wants to get his stogies, and Clark's back in the room with the tree, and the lights have gone out, and he sees the plugs have been pulled out, and
you missed one of the best lines of the movie.
What's that?
Hey, kids. I heard on the news that an airline pilot spotted Santa's sled on its way in from New York.
You serious, Clark?
Like,
That
holy
is
shit, we might get Santa this year. Like, brilliant.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
And then he plugs in one plug.
You think you're gonna get?
You think you're going to get it?
You don't.
Nothing.
Nope.
Plugs in the second plug. That one gets it. Cut to under the chair, a burnt outline of a cat.
Brilliant.
Oh yeah, so good.
The smell. The smell.
Outside, Eddie wants to keep the chair.
Fumigate it and keep it.
Yeah. Seems like a nice chair. We cut to the green glowing slop under the sewer because somehow, I think between the nuclear power plant turning on and the sewer gas,
Good point.
we have a radiated sewer refuse.
Which becomes the pink slime in Ghostbusters 2, connecting that universe as well.
To the Fletchverse.
To the Fletchverse. It's a big universe.
Wow. Also to modern problems.
And to modern problems.
Yes, same green slime.
I love that movie so much.
I loved it in 1984. I don't know if I would still love it.
Patty D'Arbonville.
Next episode, and I'll be so excited to come
We
back.
got a lot of
guest
work to
star
do.
for that one too. We're having such a great time.
Modern Problems is funny, man. That movie is still fun. I saw it like last year. It's
Really?
still funny.
What is it? I don't.
What?
What
You
is
know-
He gets superpowers.
Yeah, he gets superpowers because this he's an air traffic controller. Chevy Chase.
Chevy Chase.
He's an air traffic controller. He's driving home
yeah.
to his wife or to his girlfriend, whatever, and this radioactive sludge falls off a truck, falls on top of the car, and he gets exposed to it. And now he has like
Telekinetic powers.
Telekinetic powers to make people do things. Kind of like Zapped, but for adults.
Yeah.
And so he can make people do things. And he's like going through a breakup with Patty D'Arbonville, but now he can win her back. And I think Dabney Coleman is trying to win her.
Dabney Coleman.
Trying to win her. And then you have Nell Carter in there as well as a Jamaican priestess who says that he's the devil because he can do these kinds of things, and nobody believes her. But she's
is it
absolutely
funny?
right. It's funny as hell, in my opinion. For an 80s comedy.
Again, I have not seen it since the 80s. I thought it was hilarious in the 80s.
Yes.
But I don't know. I would be really scared of that one.
I forget the trailer where he snorts all this coke up.
Oh,
and
yes,
and he
yes.
goes in and he just says some crazy shit in the trailer. It's brilliant.
All right.
We will post at least a link to the trailer
Please.
on the
Yeah.
Facebook page.
That's great.
Absolutely.
Comment and also comment just on what you think of that movie too. You guys, you got to do this in the show. Like,
You're so
hit
smart
like
about
and
this.
subscribe.
Yep. Hit like.
Tell all your
Right.
friends.
Okay.
Next scene.
We're inside. Clark is in the foreground. We see Lewis with his stogie in the background. And I just love the huge burst of flame in the background. No reaction. And then he walks in, sees the tree burnt up, talking to Lewis. And this is an important piece of filmmaking.
Yeah.
So Lewis is on fire. He's going to
Correct.
turn around. We're going to see the flames on his back. You have the choice as a filmmaker. You're in post. You're editing your film. You could either show Lewis on fire and show Chevy Chase's reaction, or you could show Chevy Chase's reaction and then show Lewis on fire. They do the latter, and that is the funnier choice.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's way funnier to see Chevy Chase because we know what we're going to see. We know he's on fire already.
Right.
Seeing Chevy Chase react to it without seeing it is actually fun.
Well, because he has that moment too where it's like the heartbreak of this, my tree.
Yeah.
He looks like he's, and then the care for the, oh shit,
Yeah.
it's the person.
And tackles.
Yeah, and tackles him.
Everyone is now worried that Clark is going to freak out.
It was an ugly tree anyway.
And there's a delivery guy. He says, I have a delivery for Clark W. Griswold. And he hands him an envelope. There's a reaction. This is going to be it. This is the bonus.
It's bigger than you imagined.
Everyone looks.
Yeah.
And well, he makes so many of the classic blunders. Like in addition to getting the drum roll and singing "Joy to the World" before plugging
Yes.
the lights in, now he says,
I was gonna wait till tomorrow to tell you all this, but what the heck? With this bonus check, I'm putting in a swimming pool.
Well, he opens it up and puts it against his chest.
Well, we're gonna keep
Even
teasing
more
him
dramatic,
seeing
of course.
the thing. And again, like the fire, like everything, we know that he's going to fall down the ladder. We know he's going to fall off the
Correct.
roof.
Yeah.
We know everything. So we know this is not going to be good.
Correct.
And he apologizes for being short-tempered.
Yeah.
If I've been a little short with everyone lately, I've been waiting for this bonus. To make sure the pool goes in as soon as the ground thaws, I had to lay out the money in advance. And until this little miracle arrived, I didn't have enough in my account to cover the check I wrote.
He says, if there's enough left over, I'll fly you all out here to dedicate it.
I can't swim, Clark.
I know that, Eddie.
And then he reacts, and I love that he just starts walking forward. What is this? Is it bigger than you expected?
What is it?
It's a 1-year membership in the Jelly of the Month Club.
Which, by the way, I would love. I totally would like a Jelly of the Month club.
Absolutely.
I like all the month clubs. Fruit of the Month Club, the Whiskey of the Month Club. I will, yeah.
More than a
That's
pool?
in addition to what you already have. He was hoping to, if you were in a situation where you
I see your
invested
point.
in a pool,
Well,
and you were
if
going
I
to lose
was-
your house,
Sure.
the month club means nothing.
I mean, if I'm expecting a Jelly of the Month club, if I'm expecting a large bonus to build a pool,
Yeah.
I would not be happy.
But Eddie's got a real nice, he's like, well, that's the gift that keeps on giving the whole year long, Clark.
This isn't the biggest bag over the head punch in the face I ever got. God damn it! Son.
Here it is. Two little behind-the-scenes movie moments here. You can see a grip as he's going into that other room. You can see a grip that is probably on the camera crew moving off to the side.
Yep.
Also, because when it moved to whatever formats, you can see the blackout curtain that's holding all the lights up top too.
Are you
Go ahead
serious?
and check it out.
Okay.
They're little bloopers. I forgot to mention them all the way through. We got to go back.
Well, I'll just edit them all.
Okay, that's great.
Yeah.
Perfect.
And he chugs some eggnog. And
It's good.
and then we get it. And I'm just going to cut to the speech.
Hey! If any of you are looking for any last-minute gift ideas for me, I have one. I'd like Frank Shirley, my boss, right here tonight. I want him brought from his happy holiday slumber over there in Melody Lane with all the other rich people. And I want him brought right here, with a big ribbon on his head. And I want to look him straight in the eye, and I want to tell him what a cheap, lying, no-good, rotten, four-flushing, low-life, snake-licking, dirt-eating, inbred, overstuffed, ignorant, blood-sucking, dog-kissing, brainless, dickless, hopeless, heartless, fat-ass, bug-eyed, stiff-legged, spotty-lipped, worm-headed sack of monkey shit he is. Hallelujah! Holy shit! Where's the Tylenol?
It is. By the way, cue cards all around the room for him to do this
no
speech.
surprise.
Yeah.
So that seriously?
Yeah.
That's a lot to memorize.
And that breaking point in them in that moment too, and the next place he goes to for pretty much the rest of this movie, it's amazing. I love.
And of course, who do we cut to at the end of this giant speech? Eddie. Yeah. And outside, we see that tree in the foreground, and we see the RV speeding off in the background. And Clark's got the chainsaw, and the family's going, maybe we should talk to him. I love Russ goes up to talk to him. And he just turns with that chainsaw.
Good talk, Dad.
The neighbors are complaining, maybe we should have gotten a Christmas tree.
Right.
Where would you get a tree on Christmas Eve? Bam.
But also the slow pull of it.
That's the funniest part. The tree coming out.
Was that really necessary?
We needed a tree.
May I remind you that
This was all my idea? No. I'm well aware of that, honey.
Things have become very clear for him.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
This is we needed a tree.
Just it.
I got the tree.
No, we needed a coffin.
We needed
a
a
tree.
I mean a tree.
A tree.
That's a great.
How can I say that?
And he says, "I'm fine. I've done the I'm fine."
I do it every day. I'm fine.
Are any of them true?
No. I mean, I think I am in the moment. Looking back, probably not.
He walks out of the bathroom, top of a railing. The little top of the railing is loose, which is It's a Wonderful Life.
Yeah, total reference.
And cuts that thing off with a chainsaw.
It's the goalpost. And you hear thump.
We're putting some presents under the tree. And Bethany asks, "What's that sound?" And it was like, "No, you're not. There's nothing there." It's like, "Wait, I hear a sound too."
It's a funny squeaky sound.
And he puts his face into the tree.
Yeah.
Squirrel.
Best.
Oh my god.
This is ridiculous. This is ridiculous.
So ridiculous.
Yeah.
And amazing.
It is really funny. Squirrel attacks. It chases the family around. It's on the back of Chevy's head. Yeah.
Mom, don't move. She's like face down on the ground. And
I love that she's just totally
just
laying
laying
dead.
Another small moment here too. He mentioned this in the Q&A too, where he goes, "Russ!" Yells it, and he's like, "I'm right here, Dad." He's like standing right underneath. "Russ, I'm right here, Dad."
Fun fact. They spent 3 months training the squirrel to do all the gags.
What?
3 months. Well, first of all, squirrels not easy to train.
I'm sure.
Second of all, they had to have the
say
squirrel
they
do a
were,
lot
but I
of
didn't
stuff.
think it was a real squirrel.
Want to know what happened a week before they shot this scene?
It died.
Squirrel died.
All this money.
Well, and this is like, A, that is what filmmaking is like, period.
Yeah.
But B, that is perfect for this film.
Oh,
because they had the perfect plan. So they had to kind of make it up with toy squirrels, and which actually I think is funnier.
Absolutely.
I love that it's a cartoonish film, but they thought it'd have to go real on this one. We got to go real with the squirrel.
I know.
Right. Julia Louis-Dreyfus is pissed off, and she wants her boyfriend, whose name I don't remember,
Todd,
to go rush over there and knock his block off.
I don't know, Margot.
Yeah. Oh, Margot's a great name.
This is where the door knocker rips off.
Yes.
I'm sorry, it wasn't earlier. Apologies.
And she says, "Well, if you're not going to go do it, I'm going to go do it." Right. Marches right over to the front door. This does not go well for her. The squirrel and the dog knock her down. She goes back to her house, and he says, like, "What happened to you?" And she punches him out.
That's a good little punch.
She's got a good punch.
Yeah.
You remember when she in Seinfeld would do the get out and hit?
Yes.
Yes.
She's a powerful person.
Absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
She hits hard.
Grounded.
Yes. And now, you know what? Let's cut our losses. Let's all go home. Christmas is not working. And they're all leaving. And I love Clark's monologue. This actually is my favorite speech.
Yes.
Yeah.
Nobody's leaving. Nobody's walking out on this fun old-fashioned family Christmas. No, we're all in this together. This is a full-blown 4-alarm holiday emergency here. We're gonna press on, and we're gonna have the happiest Christmas since Bing Crosby tap danced with Danny fucking Kaye. And when Santa squeezes his fat white ass down that chimney tonight, he's gonna find the jolliest bunch of assholes this side of the nut house.
And then his laugh. He's just maniacal. You're goofy. Don't piss me off.
He finally has the moment with the, don't piss me off, Art.
Yeah.
Which is it's finally the moment. Look, this is his first Christmas.
My home.
Right.
Yeah.
This is his first
You're
Christmas,
staying.
as you said earlier,
right.
hosting Christmas.
I've been patient.
And he's been patient the whole time. This moment is when he goes, man to everybody, this is my goddamn time. And man to man, they all respect it. They all had that moment themselves.
Well, and he's scary.
Yeah, it's scary.
It's scary.
It can be scary.
He goes into the kitchen and in comes Dad.
Okay.
Oh, dude. This is such a beautiful damn scene.
It's only been in the past few years, but this scene is like...
Oh, yeah, you cry every time, don't you?
It's
me too, man.
It's like
me too.
And especially for the two of you two, and this year, because we didn't record this before, I thought of you guys during this scene, like all seriousness. Right, guys, we're breaking this down. All seriousness, it's so much of a different meaning when you have a family, or I'm sure when you lose a father like that. It just is. This scene rocks me now. Yeah. Every time I see it.
Well, what I love about it too is that this is when we find out, like, oh no, the Christmases weren't perfect back then, and Dad is laying on some deep wisdom. It's like,
I love you. We all love you. But this is a terrible night. Nothing's gone right. It's a disaster. But you losing your temper with the whole family only makes things worse. And you're too good a father to act like this.
And then he says, Dad, how did you get through all our terrible Christmases? And he said, I have a little help from Jack Daniels.
Jack Daniels.
I relate to that too. And
I'm retired.
I'm
retired. Oh,
and
that's it.
Well, and what is he retired from?
Reading the story.
'Twas the Night Before Christmas.
Right.
Which, by the way, that's my family tradition. We read 'Twas the Night Before Christmas on Christmas Eve.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay.
Every year, and this year was the first year that Jack's read.
Oh, nice.
Like, because what we do, everyone reads a stanza, and you kind of go around the room.
Cool.
And so Jack's read a stanza because his reading has gotten good enough to do it now.
Nice.
And that is really special to me.
Awesome.
It's so funny what it's the little silly traditions from my family that actually, like one of them, which we didn't do this year because we were traveling, but our tradition we'd hang stockings up, and the stockings you would get up, we're always filled with just silly crap that my dad bought at the 99-cent store.
Right.
So it was like deodorant and a silver dollar and some Lifesavers and an orange and just, weird random stuff. And that was so much fun. Yeah. Like that tradition. And now I'm the one who goes off to the 99-cent store, goes like, and I found some firecrackers and I found some, weird little lights that just weird, fun stuff. Yep. That makes me really happy. Yeah. It is, in fact, not the big stuff mostly, because the big stuff is hard and you can't pull it off. But a thing of deodorant in your stocking, you can.
Yep.
Yeah.
Simple.
Yeah. So we go back out and we're reading 'Twas the Night Before Christmas, and we intercut with an RV pulling away from a fancy house. Mm-hmm. And then we intercut with who we know is Frank Shirley's wife giving a description to the police of Eddie.
Kind of turned on when she's saying it.
A
correct?
beastly, bulging man. Again, I refer you to the Evian bottle in his pants.
In a leisure suit. Isn't it?
It's a blue leisure suit, which is a spectacular blue leisure suit.
Yes.
Do you have one of those?
No.
You should.
I know.
You really should.
I know. You should.
That'd be good for next Christmas. Done.
I think it's a Christmas Halloween combo. You can use it for both.
Absolutely. With an Evian. I gotta get an Evian bottle. That's the only thing.
Well,
that'll be the hardest part.
That will be hard. Well.
Yeah.
And then we get to him continuing on reading 'Twas the Night Before Christmas and says,
The moon on the breasts of the new fallen snow gave a luster of midday to objects below, when what to my wondering eye should appear but a miniature sleigh. And Eddie, with a man in his pajamas and a dog chain tied to his wrists and ankles. What the?
Because who's marching up at Eddie with Brian Doyle Murray, who he has kidnapped?
Yep.
I have never been treated like this in my life.
I'm sorry. This is our family's first kidnapping.
You're fired. Where's the phone? I'm calling the police.
Just hold your wad there, fella. Clark had nothing to do with this. This here was my idea.
All right, he's still fired, and you are going to jail.
And we hear about, the Christmas bonuses. And he says, well, you couldn't have gotten a bonus because I didn't give him this year.
Even worse, I didn't give him this year.
Yes.
It is truly a fucked up thing that this guy does.
Yeah.
Like, if you've established that everybody gets a Christmas bonus, that's part of your salary. You can't not give it.
Correct.
I think Christmas bonuses are a weird thing.
Yeah.
I think you should pay people the right amount of money. But if you give them a bonus, you should always give them a bonus.
It's that carrot.
Yeah.
Held out in front of the horse type thing for the most people,
Yeah.
Did it just used to be bonuses?
Yeah. Well, no, it depends on the business you're in, right?
So if you're in a sales business and you're the number one salesperson and you've got the Glengarry leads, then you would get a Cadillac.
That's right. First prize.
Second prize, set a steak mag.
Third prize, you fight.
We got to do that. I think this year we got to do that.
We got to do
Glengarry
Glen
Great.
Ross.
We'll come back for that.
There have been, I think, at least 2 people I
Love
can think
that
of who've
movie.
already claimed that movie.
Yeah.
That's great. They're pretty much not available all the times you guys are recording, so I'll be back for that.
Yeah, it's a weird thing.
And you know what? Clark is really cool. He doesn't throw Eddie under the bus, and he even says, I will take the blame for all the other people that you rear-ended.
Which is what the paternal person of the Christmas.
I'm going to take it.
Do you think he's also, everything's gone to shit.
Right.
He is resigned in this moment with them sitting around doing it, and he had the talk with his dad that he's not given up, but just like, okay, we're just going to enjoy what we've got now.
He's accepted it.
And that's it.
Well, one of the classic pieces of screenplay structure is the dark moment of the soul, is that you went to your lowest point. He yelled at his family. He said, we all have to stay for Christmas. He had a scene with his dad who said this is about family and basically got him back on the rails. And now has gained in character to do this thing.
Right.
And of course, that's what softens Brian Doyle Murray, who says, Carl, Chevy Chase's look at this moment is so funny.
Yes.
Like, is he talking to me? He says, whatever you got for your bonus last year, add 20%.
Right.
So we're going to be okay.
The full faint.
And we hear, he does the full straight down faint.
Straight.
And we hear, here comes Santa Claus. Just as the cops come rolling in.
More police cars rolling onto the front lawn.
Oh, yeah.
Rappelling from the top of the...
It's a full SWAT.
Full destruction.
Yeah, it's different when a regular person can have versus a CEO of a company.
Correct.
And all of a sudden, all the cops come out.
That's it.
And of course we go back to the neighbors and we hear the knocking on the door.
You want to come in?
You have to break the door down. Boom. By the way, this is Gene Autry's version of Here Comes Santa Claus, who is a cousin of Randy Quaid's.
Oh, wow.
Really?
Yeah.
How interesting.
These are the things you find out on the Cine-Files.
Singing cowboy.
Yeah.
I'm glad I'm listening.
By the way, if you guys haven't watched the country music Ken Burns documentary on PBS, Gene Autry is a very large part of it. So definitely watch it to find out so much more about that guy.
And then he says, Merry Christmas and to all a good night. And those SWAT people swing down, crash into the room. They yell, freeze. The police freeze.
Oh, such a goofy, that to me that's
where it went too far?
It's too, not you, and they move in.
Yeah.
I cut that. I would just cut that part.
The freeze pose is fantastic.
The freeze pose is great.
Particularly with Ellen's hand on.
Yeah. And you got the sound effect too after she shakes his hand. It makes like a cupping sound afterwards.
And then, but Frank says, no, this is all a mistake. We've worked it all out. His wife comes in and this is where we explain, oh, you know that thing I've been talking about with holding back the bonus?
Didn't.
Yeah.
What a cheap way to make a buck.
Yeah. Mister, if you were my boss, I'd beat you with the rubber hose. For the police chief.
It's a good lesson to all bosses.
Great line.
Respect people around Christmas.
It's absolutely true.
By the way, in this scene too, if you watch when they're all frozen, every single person is trying to make sure that they're seen in the camera.
Yes. As good extras should.
Yes.
No, not the.
You mean
all the lead?
The leads. Yeah,
that's funny.
Watch that scene.
Yeah.
Like there's a few. They kind of like readjusted some of them. Everybody's trying to make sure they're in that moment. Hysterical.
And we see a shooting star, and we all go outside, and they go, oh, it's a Christmas star. And then Lewis is like, that's not the Christmas star. That's the light on the sewage treatment plant.
Lewis, no.
Well, before he kind of starts to make the speech of, we've learned the real meaning of Christmas. And I don't think we really get to the whole thing because Lewis has lighted a match. He's standing right over the green stuff. And we know what's about to happen. He yells, Lewis, no, the match drops. There's the explosion. Lewis goes flying.
I love him being lifted.
The best.
Right.
The best.
It's all in slow-mo. He crashes into them, and the sled shoots up in the air like a rocket, and Aunt Bethany starts singing the Star Spangled Banner. Like if the Pledge of Allegiance wasn't enough.
Yeah, we got to do it one over.
And all the looks from everyone are amazing. And in particular, watch Beverly D'Angelo in this moment.
Yeah.
Because she kind of so I have a whole theory about her.
Okay.
Is that I think she, because I keep going like, why is she still with Clark Griswold? Like why does she? I mean, the man is a physical menace. He could get her killed at any time. He spends the money on the pool. He's a dangerous person to be around. And I think in this moment, as the Star Spangled Banner is singing, I think she looks over and goes, maybe Clark is right. Like it's all working out. Like somehow this is all. My whole way of being reasonable was actually wrong. This guy's really got it figured out.
Got it.
Yeah. It is a great moment. And I love, by the way, at the end, after the sleigh goes in front of the moon in a classic Santa Claus shot, and when she finishes the song, she says, play ball. Which, by the way, if it might been my dad, he would have said, go Bears. The end of the national anthem, my dad would yell, go Bears.
Go Bears.
Because we were usually at a Cal game. And Lewis gets his toupee back on. We're singing a little fa la 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 la, and we have Ellen and Clark.
Merry Christmas, Sparky.
And he pulls her into a big, huge kiss, and he looks up around and says, I did it. And that is the end of National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation.
Yeah.
I think one of the best endings of a movie ever.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Just
like the Rosebud.
Yeah.
And this.
Brilliant.
Agreed.
It opened at number 2 at the box office, behind Back to the Future 2.
That's fair.
And made $71 million and has become a perennial Christmas classic.
Yeah.
It's funny. I was thinking about, well, maybe this is more of my final thoughts. Well, I'll give my final thoughts. Is that, so we've done 4 holiday films. We did my all-time favorite, which is It's a Wonderful Life, which is a deep and profound movie to me about sacrifice and about, what is the meaning of being a good person and what are the difference between dreams and things like that. We did Miracle on 34th Street, which is all about the spirit of Christmas and why is it important to believe in these things even when they don't make sense, and focusing on that rather than the mundane commercial aspects of stuff. We did Scrooged, which is a classic tale done in a dark way, which again focuses on going to the true meaning of Christmas and the spirit of giving and of family and all of those things. So all 3 of those movies are pointing in one direction. This movie, while it's completely ridiculous, in a lot of ways is focusing on this whole other aspect of Christmas that we never talk about, which is that it's difficult, it's stressful, it involves a lot of pain, and it's almost like a test that you have to go through, a rite of passage, particularly as you become like a father and you're like, have to do this stuff. And I'm like, oh, there is a deep truth in Christmas Vacation. Will I say it's my favorite movie? It is not, but it hit me in a totally different way this time. And I was like, I am Clark Griswold.
Yeah.
Those are my final thoughts. John, how about you?
I can't echo what you said any more strongly, but I will add this. The thing that's the gift of Christmas Vacation, it is of the movies you've listed, we just said, and of course, It's a Wonderful Life is obviously my favorite as well, is this is the most realistic version of Christmas.
As unrealistic as it is.
As unrealistic as it is, because everybody listening to us probably has some outlandish Christmas story that happened in their history of like, who's going to come up and watch their grandmother switching tags on Christmas.
Right.
We all have this weird family thing that's happened at Christmas. For whatever reason, the holidays bring out the most interesting aspects of people's personalities in our families. But at the end of the day, someone inevitably at some point finds that moment where everyone is in unison agreeing with what the spirit of Christmas is supposed to be about. And through all the shit they go through in this movie, they find that moment at the end, and it's it actually works.
Yes.
And I think that's what's incredible about this movie. As much as you may want to, like make fun of it as not as touching or heartwarming or endearing or whatever, there is a reality to this that I think is endearing and heartwarming and truthful, that in spite of all the lunacy and dysfunction that exists in families, somehow, way at the bottom, at the core, at the foundation, is this desire to share a moment of appreciation and gratitude for even having this family or a family at all.
Agreed.
That's why I watch this movie secretly by myself December 1st every year. I swear to Christ.
That's
December 1st, I watch it by myself because I say, if they can get through it, so can I.
You did it.
Inspiration. Every year, you did it. I did it.
Did you feel at the end of this year's Christmas, which obviously has culminated with the recording of this podcast, that you can successfully say, I did it?
Yeah.
I feel like we did it.
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 We did it. So that's what we think of National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation. Of course, we always want to hear what you think. Visit our Facebook page. We're going to put some stuff up there that came up, including modern problems and a few other things we'll post. Just do a search for the Cine-Files there. You can subscribe to the show on iTunes, on YouTube, on Stitcher, on Spotify.
But also remember, guys, this show doesn't exist without all of you. And we really need you go to the Patreon page. We need you to comment below. We need you to like. We need you to subscribe. Go check out all the great programming that's associated with these guys. Thank you so much for being fans. John, do you have any?
Yeah, you can do that at www.patreon.com/thecine-files. We have multiple tiers for you to donate from. And look, it's 2020. It's a new year. So Steve and I are definitely getting together with the person who's going to be running our Patreon, coming up with some great new things to happen. And hey, those of you who know, I am no longer at Collider, so I have way more free time now to create even more content with Steve and assorted other guests for the Cine-Files. So you will definitely get much, much more bang for your buck than you've gotten even before we were doing all these things. So come aboard the Cine-Files train even more so than before.
And all these deals and more, just stick around. Steve, did you have any last words?
I did have one more thing to announce, which was we have a very special announcement. If you've made it long through this episode, as you know, a few years ago, we did the month of Kane, the entire month of Cine-Files devoted to Citizen Kane. Last year, we did the month of Hitchcock, an entire month of Cine-Files devoted to the work of Alfred Hitchcock. This year, 2020, will begin with
Drumroll, please.
The month of Akira Kurosawa. The month of Kurosawa, we will definitely be doing The Seven Samurai, which is obviously one of our favorite films of all time.
Yes.
And we were doing one other film that we're going to do as a commentary track to be named later, and you will be able to vote for what that film is on our upcoming survey, which we're going to put out in the next couple of days.
Yep.
So that is the month of Kurosawa coming on the Cine-Files, and I think that's it for this week. Michael Ross.
This has been so much fun, guys.
This has been...
I can't wait to come back in 2 years again when you figure out another shitty movie for me to come in and talk about that you don't really care about. But this is
Monty
really
Python's
great.
Holy Grail.
We
Not
cared
a
about,
shitty movie that I
we
don't
cared
care
about that. But I love that this podcast was like Christmas Vacation. Reliving it all over again through having you on it.
Thank you.
It was great.
Thanks.
Thank you. If people wanted to reach you on the interwebs, do you do any of that stuff?
No, you can find me on Twitter, OtterPuppet, but don't bother. I just like coming here and talking.
Okay.
That's it.
Well, you could find me on Twitter and as SR Morris, on Instagram as SR Morris1. John,
You can find me at The Roca Says on Twitter and on Instagram. And go subscribe to my YouTube channel now that is going up. Already 1,500 subscribers in the last 3
That's
hours
amazing.
from 153 just from putting the call out on social media. So if you haven't subscribed,
what would we
please
search for to
subscribe.
find?
It's Johnny S. Roca 70. So just go and find that, or just type in my name, John Roca. You'll see it come up, and you'll subscribe there. I'm going to do live streams, do original content. I'm going to get Steve to come on and do stuff with me.
And I'm already pitching ideas for it too. So there's going to be a lot of me on that channel.
There's a lot of Ross.
This is great.
Definitely some drunk stuff going on with Ross.
Perfect.
But yes, these are the things. Just look for John Roca and my beautiful face on the thumbnail and subscribe.
Long live Outlaw Nation and long live the Cine-Files. We will see you next time.